How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the 1894. I'm Darrell. I've got you with me here today to preview the first game of the Paris Saint-Germain, the group stage. I can't wait. Let's get right into it. Right, so obviously we're coming in on a huge boost of confidence after the 1-0 Chelsea win. I am looking forward to this game. I think we can go out here and do damage regardless, even if we drop a couple of players, which you'll see in our predicted lineup. I'm really confident we can go and do a bit of damage. Before I talk about it, Joe, what do you make of it?
I'm not really bothered about the result in this game, to be honest, because Liverpool is more important. For me, at least, anyway. Pep won't view it like that. Pep will go out to try and win the game, as he always does. But for me, at least, I wouldn't be too bothered about the result. I think you've just got to enjoy a game like this. Games like this don't come around very often. You know, two of the most expensive squads ever assembled, playing against each other again, this time with a few additions to each team. So, you know, the amount of talent that's going to be on the pitch, you just have to enjoy it. And regardless of the result, you know, it's not the end of the world because it's only the second group game of 6. So we should be good with them dropping points to Bruges in the first game. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I completely agree. Regardless of what happens, I think we will be fine. It's not that I'm not too bothered. I'd love to go out here and win. Like, there's not a shadow of doubt in my mind either that we can go out and win. But I really want to win this. But as Joe said, it's not the biggest game this week, and it's Paris away, and it's not the biggest game this week. But I'm really looking forward. I'm quietly confident. You know, Joe, we've stopped the shine over the last week. I'm quietly confident we can stop the front three because it's already stopped 2 of the 3 of them. I don't see why we can't keep them shut up. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think we're going to be able to stop? Well, I don't even know what they have a nickname, but do you think we're going to be able to stop what they have?
I mean, yeah, we're definitely good enough defensively. We kept Chelsea to 0 shots on target for the first time in however long for them at Stamford Bridge. So yeah, I mean, again, am I expecting to concede? You'd hope so from a Paris point of view with the amount of money that they spend a week on wages and that front three, just, you know, Messi, Neymar and Mbappe. Obviously, Messi's a slight doubt he will play. Will he start? Who knows? Probably because it's Messi and he's an alien. Injuries don't affect them. So, I mean, we conceded to them last time we went there last season, and that was without Messi. But we kept them relatively quiet in terms of Neymar and Mbappe. They didn't really do too much in that game. They didn't really do too much in the reverse, like either. So I'm not too bothered. You know, if anyone's going to be able to stop him at the moment, our defence with 6 shots faced in 6 games or 6 shots on target, I think it is in 6 games. I think, you know, we're more than good enough to limit them to a couple of chances.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think City's defence, we've conceded 1 goal in the Premier League. Like you said, we're averaging on average, we're facing 1 shot on target a game from someone. And considering we watched that Southampton game with the 2 shots on target and then we're P rollers, it's kind of less than that. There's no real threatening shots facing us because it's not getting past our backline. I think our backline is still horrifically underrated. Like, this coming from me as well, because every time I see this M&M, as you can call it, lining up against us, I'm thinking, geez, these could hit us for 3. But then I remember how good the defence is. Like, do you ever get that?
Yeah, I mean, our defence at the moment is the best in Europe. Like, we shouldn't be afraid of any team in the world in terms of coming forward. Yes, we may concede at the odd few and get hit on the break, but that's football. You're never going to go a whole season without conceding.
Yeah, spot on. And like, it's got to be one of those where I don't think Laporte's going to play. We're going to have a week in the rotated team, but the defence is still good enough. The team is still good enough. There's not money being put into that team. That should be good enough. And you could say the same for Paris, but like we said it from the minute we drew them. We're happy we drew them because Paris don't have it up there. City have it up there. Paris don't have it up there. I think they're I know they brought in Messi, they brought in Ramos. Ramos is a serial winner, but that's it. Like, you see that midfield, that's going to be like, you'll break it down like that. They're very easy to break down, and like, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But as you talk about the teams, talk about the midfield, but get into the predicted lineups for the Ajax Classico. Right, so getting into the starting lineups for the Abu Dhabi. First off, we have Edison in net. We have Walker, Diaz, Stones, not Laporte, Stones, because we have Liverpool, don't forget, and then Cancelo. I think it's going to be, again, it's going to be a very good back line. Zinchenko's not travelled. Of course, he's been injured. The less said about the other left backs, the better. But we brought Joshua Wilson-Esbrand, he looked unbelievable against. He looked unbelievable against Wickham. Sorry, he looked unbelievable against Wickham, but that is Wickham. It's not Messi. It's not Neymar. It's not Mbappe. So I don't think he'll get. I don't think he'll start. Whether he gets a game is a different thing. I don't think he'll start. But stranger things have happened, I suppose. But Joe, looking on that, what do you think? What do you think of that defence?
It is the exact same goalkeeper and back four that we travelled to Paris with last time. Of course, Cancelo came off early in the second half at Zinchenko, but that can't happen this time because Zinchenko is injured and unfortunately not in the squad. There's not really too much work you can do with the back four, considering we don't have Zinchenko available, so we can't change the full-backs really unless you do play a Wilson-Esbrand, which is highly unlikely because left back is where you'd think Messi would be residing, which is not the easiest of tests, you have to say. So we could possibly change both centre-backs. I doubt it. I doubt we'll see Nathan Ake. I think Stones will get minutes because he needs them this season. Obviously, he hasn't had any apart from the ones he got with England because he's had a few little knocks here and there. But yeah, I think now is possibly the perfect time to give him some minutes. You know, it's a big test with the front three, but you know, I'd rather have someone like Laporte who's on form and he's got that match sharpness against Liverpool, which is ultimately the more important game.
Yeah, no, spot on, exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. I think we're great. We're really going to go in now. Look, Cancelo's been on that good form now. I think he went into the last Paris game really bad. He wasn't on great form, but he went into the Paris game last year on not great form, like I said, but he's coming into this one as was currently looking like on form the best fullback in England. And I think that defence is more than capable of keeping them limited. At least I'm not going to say completely shutting them up, but to keep them limited. But we mentioned players who are injured. Ilkay Gundogan is also injured, so that means limited. I say limited amount of players in that midfield. We're going for Fernandinho, we've gone for Foden, we've gone for Bernardo, an energetic midfield, and we're preserving Rodri. Now I give Rodri a lot of stick. Joking about it, I give Rodri a lot of stick. But that Chelsea game that he played was unbelievable. And I remember last season he was brilliant against Liverpool as well. So I think Pep's going to have that in his mind. He's going to be like, right, we want him for the bigger game. That's what I want. Rodri for the bigger game, so he's going to play Fernandinho. But, Joe, what do you think of that midfield? Obviously, it packs creativity, it packs energy. I think it's perfect for going up against what Paris have in the midfield, which is Ander Herrera and Verratti.
Yeah, our midfield is a bit different to theirs. Obviously, they did sign Wijnaldum on a free, who... Yeah, you kind of say he has a bit of a winning mentality. Obviously, there was that Liverpool 4 Barcelona 0 that he was a part of that he scores a couple of times in, Champions League winner, Premier League winner. So, you know, he's got a bit up there that, you know, maybe they didn't have before. But yeah, I think it's possibly, we say this all the time, I think Hugh likes to use it, if you win the midfield battle, you're more than likely win the game. So I think high energy for this one because... if we're going to be honest, with the midfielders that they have, Drussaganage, Wijnaldum, they're all very, you know, Verratti is their most technical, but in the midfield, they're sort of workhorse. They're almost like Liverpool's midfield, where they might not be the most creative, but they will work really, really hard because they might not be the most gifted, so they have to make up for it. So I think Bernardo in there could be key, because we all know when he's on the pitch, he runs the most, he does the most. Fernandinho as well, he might be 36, but you know, he can still do it. He had a poor game against Southampton, but again, we need to try and keep players fresh, avoid as many injuries as possible. I'd keep Rodri because he was really, really good in that Chelsea game, so I'd keep him fresh for Liverpool. And then Foden, I'd give him some more minutes because he was a bit subpar against Chelsea, but I don't think that was his fault. He was being played as a false nine up front on his own, and I think moving back into the midfield where he can... you know, create a bit more, run with the ball, pick it up, receive it, drop a bit deeper, you know, do the things that he's better at. I think, you know, you go with him there, especially now that Pep seems to, at least in training now, it seems that he wants to use him more in the midfield than out wide like it was last season.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's great having these players like Bernardo, like Foden, like Grealish, who can all play in different positions, like obviously out left, through the middle, out right, whatever you want. Like you said, even play through the middle. But it's just great having that versatility at hand. But getting onto the front three, now this is a bit of a weird one. It's a complete rotation because we think they're going to completely rotate again for the Liverpool match. We've gone with Mahrez, Sterling and Torres. Now, Sterling's been on the end of a little bit of stick lately from everyone. I'd say rightfully so, but some of it goes a bit far. But this has to be a game where he wakes up. This has to, like, we say this every time. We said it for Southampton as well. This has to be the game he wakes up. It really does, because I can't see him getting a place back in this team if he keeps just playing subpar performances. He was the only attacker to not score against Wickham. I wouldn't say cost us a game with Southampton, but he was woeful against Southampton. We're really, like, this is gonna have to be the game, and even at that, we're not completely for him starting. We'd rather have the full team for Liverpool. Before I bang on about it, Joe, what do you make of the front line?
Yeah, I think Sterling is just, it's now or never. 2 years left on his contract. We've got a lot of wingers now, with Jesus seeming to be preferred out wide now instead of through the middle. So, you know, one or two maybe even, depending on where they see Grealish long term and Foden long term. You know, you'd imagine that one of them would have to make way. And at the moment, Sterling would be the one that I'd get rid of, because he's been the poorest out of the options that we've had there. But in this game, it is really make or break. If he plays on that left-hand side, it will more than likely be him running at Hakimi. Now, Hakimi is a very, very good fullback, but he plays more as a winger, really. So he'll be really, really far forward. So if he can exploit that space, which he has the pace to do so, I'm not saying it will, but this could be maybe a turning point, but he has to get it right. He has to perform. Otherwise, you don't see a way back, because he's had multiple chances in multiple different positions. He played through the middle, right, left this season already, and we're only a handful of games in. We're not even the double digits in games yet. So he has to have a good game, at least a decent game. He can't be average or below average again, because I don't see a way back if he is. If he can't exploit space from, you know, practically a winger playing at fullback, then, you know, what hope has he got against like a low block like we see in the Premier League? But again, in terms of Torres, scored against Wickham, was taken off against Wickham as well. Didn't play Southampton and didn't play Chelsea. I was a bit surprised that he didn't play for a couple of games, but with that being said, I think you start him in this game, because again, he needs to play. And if one about him being a number 9, maybe him not being the best number 9 at the moment, because it's not natural to him yet, he's just going to need game time there. It's as simple as that. He needs game time to get better there. And again, in a game where it's not as important as the ones around it, can maybe afford to put him there. And then Mahrez, I think Mahrez has been on the end of a bit of, you know, plays in his position just being on form. He's still one of the most creative wingers in the league. He's multiple times he's made good chances that, you know, Sterling's been on the end of, unfortunately, and we know how he is in front of goal. But again, I think being away from home especially, he's much better at holding up the ball than quite a lot of the players in the team. Like, he's much better at holding onto the ball than Jesus. So I think, you know, that could be key at slowing the game down, better at game management, that experience. Of course, he scored the free kick last time we went there. So again, it's just about rotating, keeping the squad fresh, getting some minutes into players who haven't had some, and, you know, getting out there injury free to our key players for Liverpool on the weekend.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I think Mahrez, he's coming in. This was his meal ticket last year into being what was a turning point in the City career, and I don't see why he can't do it again. But that's our predicted lineup. So before we get into the wrap up of the video, Joe, what's your score prediction? What's your honest score predictions, though?
Honest score prediction. Well, I went honest last time and I said 1-1 and we won 1-0, which you actually predicted right. So, you know, fair enough. This time, PSG, I think we're going to win 2-1. Again, I just don't think they have it mentally in them to, you know, do very well in this competition. Whether it's to do with the manager not being a serial winner with his time at Spurs, obviously being a bit disappointing, or whether it's just too many weak-minded players we saw in the second leg getting sent off, diving into challenges. I just think we have it better mentally, and, you know, we can come out the other side mentally stronger. I think we'll win the game.
Yeah, no, that mental battle is hugely underrated. Why we have people like Fernandinho, Bernardo, who we saw at the end of the match against Chelsea. He has it up there. Constantly, they have it up there. They're great team to watch, and their togetherness is, I think, it's going to pull them through too as well. I'm going to say I don't want to say 2-1 because you just said it. Okay, I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1 City. I think we'll sweep them. It shouldn't be very stressful. They're the famous last words. Anyway, but look, that's our preview. We'll see you for the watch it on. Thanks for watching. Share it around. Like, subscribe. You know yourself. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.